Hi, I received a question about question number 4 in section 11.2. And the question was actually asking how do you know when the sign is greater than or less than for these matched pair problems here. And so I actually started writing a response out, and I thought that this might be helpful for me to explain to in a video because I'm guessing other people have this question as well. So I'm just going to talk through how to do this. So because to figure out whether it's going to be less than or greater than, you actually have to look at the context of the problem and interpret what the heck is going on. So for this problem in this question, it says a researcher studies water clarity at the same location in a lake on the same dates during the course of a year, and then repeats the measurements on the same dates 5 years later. And they do this by putting a disc that's painted black and white into the lake, and that's actually called a Secchi disc. And it's a real device, and they drop it into the water and they look and see how deep it goes until they can't like see it anymore. And so that when it's no longer visible. So the data is collected in the table below, and then we're asked why it's important to measure on the same date. And that's so that we have consistency around the weather and things like that for it being about the same. And then we're trying to figure out if the clarity of the lake is improving or not. And so you have to look at the data that you're given and try and figure out what these numbers actually represent. And so if you have no idea what a Secchi disc is or what this means, you have to really read it and kind of imagine what you're looking at here. So we're looking at how deep it goes until it's no longer visible. So if I just focus on one observation to help me get a sense of what's going on. So in the first observation, they dropped the disc down 38.7 inches. I was told it was inches here. So this is 38.7 inches. This is as far down as it went until it was visible. And then 5 years later, it went down 45.9 inches. So if you think about that, that means it was clearer 5 years later because the disc went further down, went deeper in the water before it was no longer visible. So that helps us figure out that bigger numbers mean that it is becoming clearer. So if the numbers go up between the first observation and the second one, it's then we know it's getting clearer. And so this is pretty clearly matched pairs data because it's in the same location at the same time of year, and it's trying to find a change in it. So that's matched pairs, and it actually tells us in the problem how to set up our difference calculation, and that's to take the first number and subtract the second number from it. And so if we do that calculation on a calculator, again, just on one observation to help us figure out what we're looking at, we do 38.7 minus 45.9, and you end up with a difference of negative 7.2. And so then the question is, what does that mean? Well, I just said here that the number got bigger, so that means it gets clearer. So if I have a negative number, that means that the water clarity is improving as time goes by. And so that's what this is asking, is the clarity of the lake improving? And so that means if my mean is negative, the answer is yes. So that's why we use a less than sign. If this was positive, like in this March one, where it actually went the other direction and be positive, then that means it got less clear. So we're trying to figure out whether or not we've got a statistically significant increase in clarity between these two different measurements. And so that's how you make that decision there. And then if you want to figure out how to do the actual question, I do go through that calculation on the 11.2 number 2 question. So you can check that one out. I hope this helps.